Alright guys, welcome back. It's been a long time since I posted a video, so being behind the cameras, it's not new, but it's been a while since I talked to it. So it's the reason I haven't been posting just because the ice is coming off the water and it's too dangerous to ice fish. So it's about a week or two and I should be back on the water. But I thought before that I'd go over my top walleye baits for the spring. Alright, so I got my little tin here full of stuff and I'll go over what's in it. So first off, we're going to start with plastics. What I've got here is I've got some swim baits. I've also got some flukes or minnows, whatever you want to call them. Right here I've got some Berkeley power bait ones. It's mainly the ones that I run. 4-inch is the ones I go with. You can always trim them down. You might not think you can, but you can. They still work perfectly fine. These are in white, or pearl, I guess. So one of the colors I usually just tend to go with is white. It's a good color. You can also go with, say, a chartreuse, but the white has worked very well for me. Even if you team it up with, right here, sorry. I got a white swim bait with a white jig head. This is a great tactic for walleye. You cast it out, slowly retrieve it in. You can cast it out, pop it off the bottom, and don't get too aggressive with your pops. You don't have to be all crazy with the action of your rod, and you can just slowly bring it in and they'll definitely go for it. These right here are the Storm 360 search baits. I found these work really good. This once was clear. Now it turned into this color because they got in the same box, and I guess that's just what happens. But like I said, you've got all different kinds. You can rig it up with a swim bait hook. This is a 4-aught swim bait hook. This works really well too. And yeah, then you got you got so many options for heads for these. The one is these slurp jigs. I can't remember the name of the brand, but I'll put it right here in the video so you know. They also make them with an underspin. It gives it a little bit more action while it's swimming through the water. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to go with is a white jig head and the white swim bait or swim baits. All right, now that we were talking about jig heads, we might as well go right into them. I don't want to go and remove the head from this because I've already done it once before and it just wrecks them after a while. But a white jig head, if you jig this vertically with a minnow, leech, worm, whatever, is one of the best hooks you can catch walleye with. You can go with red, orange, chartreuse, black, whatever. They all work well. Just white I find works the best for me. Another thing that worked good for me is hair jigs. These right here are Zach Tackle Steely jigs. And if you've seen my Sturgeon Lake Spring Walleye trip video, it's one of my very first videos I've posted. You see that I use these Zach Tackle Steely jigs. And this is actually the identical one that I used in the video. And as you can see, it's lost some paint. But in 2 days, I caught over 100 walleye on this. So it's a really good option. Jig it with a minnow and it catches a lot of fish. You can even put a leech on it, but truth be told, I'm not a fan of leeches, so I think I'll just stick with the plastic leeches instead of live ones. I don't know if they work any better. But yeah, a hair jig or just a plain old jig is another great viable option for catching walleye. So right here I've got a frostbite tantrum and a rip and wrap. This is a Raffla size 5. Yeah, I want to say this is a TN60. I'm not 100% sure though. But these two right here are great walleye baits. You can cast them out, slowly retrieve them, give them a little pop. Or, this might sound silly, but I've found a lot of luck just vertically jigging these. Where, say everybody else is jigging a minnow and you want to change it up, slap one of these on. Give it a little, it's got a lot of rattle in it, so it's definitely going to attract the fish. Sorry, my street's a little busy, so that was pretty loud. But last summer I went to Slave and I was using a 3-inch lipless crank. And a trick you can do, I learned, you can take your back treble and you can slide a piece of shrink tubing over it so your back treble sits like this. When you're jigging it, it doesn't go up and catch your line and sit like this in the water. And another thing, I was going to make this video last year, but to make sure that I wasn't going to put out a video that was lying to you, I made sure that I waited a year and tested out all these, made sure they work. So yeah, they all work fine, so give them a shot. The next things are these are vertically jigging baits, or you can even cast them out. This right here is a W7, I'm pretty sure, jigging wrap. in clown color, and then an Acme Hyperglide. This is a 10 gram. I'm not sure what that size that is, what they show on their website or whatever. But anyway, what you can do with these is you can vertically jig them or even cast them out and slowly pop them off the bottom like every other bait I've talked about. When you vertically jig this one, actually the Hyperglide, they've got these little wings that kind of protrude off the side when the water hits it, so it gives a good fluttering action. And if you haven't used the Jigging app before, you should probably get some because they're just an all-around universal bait. Catch perch, walleye, you name it, you can catch it on it. But they've got some weight to them too, so you can lob these out there and rip them back into the boat. And back to the boat, not into the boat, whatever you do. If you're like me and fish out of a Zodiac, it's probably not your best bet. But they've got such a wide swimming pattern when you jig them that they're just they're an attracting bait. Same with these. That's what these are for. They're attractive fish. They're pretty light, so maybe if you're fishing 30 feet of water, it's going to take a little while for them to get down there. So you can go with this bigger size. Like this is about a 2.5 inch, and this is about a 2 inch. So if you go with a 3 inch, and don't worry about not catching big or small fish that are like eater size, because if the fish is hungry enough and you can get them aggravated with this, they'll definitely eat it. I've caught some big fish on the big ones and some small fish on the big ones, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so a little short video, just a little informational video. I want to start doing some of these, even in the boat. I'll start talking. I'd like to do a video of my favorite trout baits, and I probably will do that. That'll probably be up in a little bit. But yeah, for the next couple of weeks, just make sure you stay tuned because I will be putting all these baits to the test, and I'll put it in the video because, like I said, the ice is coming off, and I'm just chomping at the bit to get out there and fish. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and if you found this helpful, leave a comment. I love hearing all your guys' responses, and it just makes me happy knowing that sometimes I'm helpful, and sometimes I guess the hate comments are helpful too, but make sure you calm those down a little bit. But yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one.